So let's talk about the beautiful experience. And so hopefully most of you have been exposed to our Smart IT capability. So Smart IT first came out in September with our 1.0 release. And Smart IT is an additive user experience that sits on top of your ITSM application being 7604 Service Pack 2 or greater. And so it's a different way for you to interact with your application. It is not today meant to force you into a decision where you have to say, hey, I want to be able to look at this from a mid-tier capability, or I want to look at this from a Smart IT capability. You don't have to make a decision. But what it is it's persona-driven with a mobile-first approach. And so with that, what we've done is in Smart IT 1.0, we first introduced the concepts around the service desk. So we had the smart recorder that you heard Dick talk about earlier, where just plain text, I could open a ticket, do some really cool stuff. We focused on field technicians, level 1, level 2, level 3 type service desk people. And when we looked at this from a persona perspective, we took a 360 view. And so it wasn't just like we were trying to mobile enable the incident form. We looked at the role itself and what all did they need access to. Did they need access to the CMDB? What kind of access was that? Did they need access to knowledge, to request management, to task, to incident? What were all the things that they needed access to? And that was the basis of the 1.0 release of Smart IT. Well, when we released Smart IT, we told the market that we were going to aggressively go out and do more personas. And our goal is to do these personas in a, I'd say it was probably a little aggressive to think that we were going to do a new set of personas every quarter. But I'd say it's somewhere in the range right now of about 5 months, 4 to 5 months in terms of where we're upticking new personas. And so with the Remedy 9 release that came out earlier in the May time frame, one of the things that we did was we actually decided to expand the Smart IT personas. And so we added knowledge because that was the number one request by all of our customers. RKM seems to be a really, this is what we heard customers say, RKM, great search engine, lousy user interface. Managing knowledge and Remedy knowledge management was a challenge. And so can you do something with that? And so what we did was we created a knowledge persona that really focused on knowledge authoring and the management of knowledge. Then we went into change management, and we realized that change management is going to take several personas to be able to accomplish. If you think about the change process, there are people who submit changes, there are people who approve changes, there are people who work changes, there are people who establish and do CAB type reports and things like that. There's change managers, change implementers. And so what we did was we actually took 2 of the personas off the table right away with the 1.1 release that came out with Remedy 9. And that's really the submitter, implementer component, so really that specialist, and then also the approver. And we still have visions to do more with the change management personas in the upcoming releases with 1.2 and 1.3. We also did some refinement. We got some great feedback from customers who were early adopters of 1.0 that said, hey, look, if you would do this a little bit different, it would really help us out. And so we built those into the release. And so by having this kind of agile approach to being able to put this new user experience on top of what is already a great ITSM product, it really has been able to propel us into adding new capabilities, a fresh approach to ITSM from that perspective. And so what I want to do is take you through a little bit more about what Smart IT is all about. So I've got some screenshots here to kind of take you through that whole process. So the first thing we talked about was really being able to focus on knowledge article editing. And so this is what it would look like on the web. So the ability to very quickly type in a knowledge article. When you type in a knowledge article, some things that will happen is it will tell you whether or not maybe you have a title that's a duplicate. So you can kind of manage Sprawl from that perspective. There's rich text formatting within this, and there's really no need to give anybody training on how to create a knowledge article. With that, we talked about this, but we really are trying to help you with look-ahead type queries that say, hey, wait a minute, you've already done something around Section 508, so maybe you might not want to create a whole new article. You might want to edit this article, or you might want to, copy what you started into this new article, and so that there's a lot of things where you can consolidate very quickly, manage your knowledge from a management perspective with really less downstream effort. We talked about templates. So templates have become very important in Smart IT, and so as you continue with templates, we now allow you to use those within the knowledge piece too. So when I'm actually creating a knowledge article, I have the ability to very quickly go in and understand the different knowledge templates, understand which ones apply. I can have some pre-formatting. I can make sure that I capture the information that I want. And the other great thing is, and I think I've got it coming up here, is that we do this on mobile as well. And so in just a bit, I'll show you this idea that not only can I edit knowledge now from my desktop, I can do it from my phone. And when I do it from my phone, now I can start adding screenshots, pictures, all sorts of great rich media within the knowledge article. So I can do that from the web. I can do that from my phone. I can embed videos. I can embed pictures from that perspective. And then this just gives you an idea of what it looks like on the mobile device. Again, native iOS and native Android, so that allows us to control things like the camera. It allows us to control things like the GPS and things like, just your context of what you're doing, screenshots, all sorts of things like that. And what's great about this, we've actually applied for some patents around what we've done with the mobile knowledge entry, but really, honestly, I can actually create knowledge on the fly, walking somewhere with my phone in my hand, with updates, screenshots, all that, without having to go back to my desk to do it. So anytime you got some idle time, maybe you're on a train going home, and you got an extra few minutes, and all of a sudden something popped in from your day that you remember that, hey, if I created a knowledge article that would really help my peers out, then you'd be able to pop that up on your phone, go through that whole process, type it all through, and get it within the system. And so we're really excited about what we've done with the mobile form factor, especially with knowledge. We feel like in the feedback we've gotten in the beta programs and with early adopters has been that this will transform the way knowledge gets into the knowledge base going forward, that no longer is it something I have to remember and go back to my desktop to enter, but now as that happens, if I'm fixing somebody's problem and I've got a picture of what they've seen on their screen, I can immediately turn that into knowledge. Or maybe a user has sent me a picture through the ticket, and I can take that picture and turn it into knowledge. So it's really exciting about what we're doing there with knowledge on the mobile device. Then on the other persona that's part of Remedy 9, in addition to the things we did in Smart IT 1.0, is really the idea of guided change requests. And so as we talk to more and more users out there, we found out that, not a surprise to us, that the people who go create changes within our current change management application really encounter lots of frustrations about the way the application is laid out. It's really designed, the user experience and the design of the current best practice view is really designed more for a change manager than it is for somebody that's going to create a change. And so what we did was we took all this feedback, all these interviews, and we looked at it and we said, hey, let's give this same experience either on a phone, on a tablet, or on a desktop. And so multiple form factors, same type of experience. It guides me through. It asks me for the basics. It'll ask me to associate CIs. It'll ask me what kind of dates I need for this particular change. And then it gets me down to the risk questions. And again, just like in the current tool, I can do a manual risk assessment. I can override questions. I can ask the user questions, and then I can actually add additional documents associated with this. Updates are very easy. So I've got the core fields of the change. So if I'm an implementer out there, I can add tasks. I can add related items very quickly to the change. The interface is intuitive. It's easy to use. I can add notes. I can give a quick status update of a change, much like what we did with Incident for the 1.0 release. Change approvals anytime. So again, we had change approvals. If you're using our My IT app, you actually can see change approvals within that. Well, now what we're able to do is in the Smart IT interface, allow you to go in and approve things. You can see information about the particular request real time. You see the ticket. You see information about who the next approvers are going to be. And you can actually register your approval or disapproval or ask for more information right within this interface. Again, this actually is an iPad screenshot, but you'd be able to do the same thing on the phone as well or on the desktop. So common theme, whatever I got here in my hand, I can get that notification, I can open it up, and then I can see the details and give my approval real time. Phone integration. So this was, again, a neat concept that we had from a lot of our different customers out there. They really, really liked what we did with the Smart Recorder. And if you haven't seen the Smart Recorder, I would urge you to go up to the BMC.com web page. If you go to Service Support, there's a whole bunch of videos there. There's also a place where you can take a test drive of Remedy 9, and it includes all the features that I've showed you today. So you can register for that test drive. You get access to a live system. You can play with Smart Reporting. You can play with Smart IT. You can play with the new features in My IT and really kind of understand what we've done. But one of the things was when we brought out the Smart Recorder, if you've seen a demo of it or if you use Smart Recorder, you know it's basically a freeform type ahead. So I can actually start typing things like, an @ sign, which is telling the system I want it to look up something. Then I could type in Bob, and it would show me all the Bobs within my system. I could pick the right Bob, and then it'll tell me and show me information about Bob on my screen. And then I could type in the other problems that they're having. And as I do this, things happen on the screen real time. It's not me having to go search different things. I see the knowledge, I see templates, I might see outage information. Well, as customers started adopting this, they said, well, the big thing that's hot right now is this concept of what's called voice to text. And so the idea being that computer telephony systems not only can capture your phone number or capture your information, your ID if you put it in or if you say it, but it can also capture if you say what the problem is. So you might be able to say, I'm having a problem with VPN or whatever the issue might be. And so what that allows you to do is these telephony systems now can convert that very easily into text. And we now have an integration that lets you dump all of that into the Smart Recorder at the time the user at the time you pick up the phone and you have the user on the phone. You now can have everything on the ticket filled out. You can have those templates ready for you and what the user has said in their own words without you having to do the typing. And we're just the feedback we've gotten from customers that want to implement this has been phenomenal. They already see a great deal of time savings by using the Smart Recorder to log tickets. Now, the fact that they can even go further ahead in the queue and have the end user say what they've got the problem with, capture who it is, so that the minute the call comes online, you have all the information there. You don't have to ask the user anymore about, why are you calling me? Let me hold for a second. Let me go find out some information. You'll have all that on day one when that happens.